actually on this topic, I don't know if you've read AI Superpowers by Kai-Fu Lee.
No, I haven't. No.
It's not really about AI. It's a clickbaity topic for the book,
Right.
but it really does a great job, because the guy is an AI, I believe an AI professor, like in both in China and in the United States. So he's seen Silicon Valley and he's seen the like, let's say, Shenzhen or other Chinese cities, and he does a really great analysis of how different the tech people in China and tech people in America work, and how this relationship is developing. It's quite fascinating, that book.
Well, the main point about AI, China and here, is simply, you can create various systems, but the effectiveness of AI depends on the volume and breadth of data, right, that you can collect. Otherwise, whatever you're doing is more or less useless. Well, not useless, but just not going to be as good. And obviously, we're always going to have the limitation in Europe and the US that certain things, are more problematic to track. There are more permissions. I mean, a silly thing. Like, I mean, it's not really a silly thing, but again, I was recently writing an article about education, and there's a company, I think it's called Squirrel AI, that is basically a intelligent tutoring company. It started with maths tuition, and they basically run this sort of AI tutor across China in thousands of schools. I think they have less than 100 right in the US, because they have cooperation with one of the US universities. But for them to pilot this in a US school, they basically need to have a permission of every school, and potentially maybe even every child, to take part of the experiment, right? That's taking, but I don't need to do this in China. So the amount of data that they're getting from China is just much higher, right? I mean, and that does mean that this create more opportunities, right, for AI in China. Now, I'm not saying that we should. In fact, I'm more fearful than anything of attempts to implement this. I mean, what was it? I think it was yesterday, or that I read on British news that an Amazon delivery driver quit his job because basically they've implemented as a kind of a program which basically automatically detects when he yawns, right? And this was meant to be for this is the point, right? So this is meant to be for safety, right? So it's not even, it's not even an evil. The intention is not evil, because there are some evil intentions. So there are programs that track your effectiveness. They look at how long it takes you to do a certain task, or things like this. But this is not even that. I think he was happier having his route tracked, because that was an efficiency play. And technically you would think that from a personal freedom perspective, having your route tracked is slightly more intrusive, because, well, let's say that you want to take a break or take a long route and to an address and get a coffee on the way, right? I mean, it's not really the behavior that should be encouraged at work, but you can't do it with that route trapping act. But he did not protest about that. He protested when he realized that his emotions are being tracked, and also his basically his emotions through his facial expressions, and that he's given a warning light if he yawns or appears disengaged, right? So if you appear disengaged, I would love to actually do it in class, right? Every time someone appears disengaged, they get electrocuted, right? But they have like a friendly sort of buzz of energy.
I think a lot of people would drop out or love the class. That's
yeah, either or. I mean, they would have no choice. They would have to love the class, right?
Yeah.